Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Suzanne. And he's Steve.
Yes, that's me.
And we are dedicated to
you heard how she treats me then, didn't you? Like, click, click, click.
And we are here dedicated to do just what it says on the tin. To help bring the paranormal world together. Originally established in 2007, the KTPF is dedicated ongoing community, not just for when you're experiencing animosity from others. Okay, so we welcome every paranormal investigator and enthusiastic alike, including hobbyists, scientists and psychic mediums from around the globe to join in as we cover this very vast, fascinating subject, encouraging you to share information, advice and most importantly friendship. Remember, collaboration, not competition.
Would it help?
You're listening to the all-new KTPF show live on Spooky Radio, keeping the paranormal friendly, where membership is just a smiling face.
Yeah, welcome to the Paranormal Community Talk Show on Spooky Radio. It's the KTPF Community Show, live in the hub. Although concentrating more on the investigating side of the paranormal, this show will be incorporating a wide spectrum of this fascinating subject to involve you within a live, interactive chat room. That's what you're there for. With interviews from special guests within most areas of this chosen field to team members promoting their own groups and sharing their experiences. Remember, this is your show too, where you get involved within the chat room and on the phone. Yes, that means you out there. So if you are a group and would like to promote your team, then here is the place to do so, which is similar to the Paranormal Community website at www.ktpf.co.uk. 2 seconds.
1, 2, go. Whilst she's having a little hissy fit over there with
I am Chris Andrews from Phase 2 Paranormal in Stockport, and I'm proud to be keeping the paranormal friendly, where membership is a smiling
We've got a delay here somewhere.
I am going to string either you or Chris up.
Let's try that again, shall we?
I am Chris Andrews from Phase 2 Paranormal in Stockport, and I'm proud to be keeping the paranormal friendly, where membership is a smiling face.
Yay. Oh, good old Chris.
We will get used to this delay. Yeah, thanks Chris. Later we will be giving a rundown of the events from around the UK as advertised on paranormaleventsforyou.com. And remember, if you have any spare tickets for an event on the Saturday following the show or any special event, then please email us prior to the broadcasting and we will be happy to mention it for you on the show. Now we know that Lawrence Paranormal Research have 2 tickets left for the in-depth tech investigation that Ian Lawrence has organised on Saturday the 26th of May, 7 p.m. till 2 a.m. Ian says it's not a fun and themed event. This is for those wishing to be involved in a more pollution-free observation. This is followed by sleeping in an apparently haunted location. I'm sure I wouldn't sleep. In the morning there will be analysis from 9 a.m. till 12 dinner time, followed by a YouTube video of the findings. The last 2 tickets are £30 each, and if interested, email Lawrence Paranormal Research at hotmail.co.uk. Are you okay there, Steve?
Yeah.
So, on with tonight's show. Go on then, Steve.
Well, she's handed it back to me now, and as I was about to say a little bit earlier, tonight we are talking about mediumship. Is it bonkum or our imaginations? Well, to tell us about his experience and answer your questions, we have renowned Liverpool medium and our good friend, Mr. Neil Munnerley. Welcome, Neil.
Hi all. Hi everybody.
Hopefully we can hear you all in the... is everybody hearing us okay? Just to double check.
Paul says hi, Neil.
Paul says hi, Neil.
Yeah, they can hear us. Let's move this mic down a little bit.
Okay. Now, Neil comes from Liverpool, correct?
Say again?
Neil comes from Liverpool.
I do come from Liverpool, yeah. Can I take these off?
Yes, you
Today
can.
is absolutely shocking.
Okay, and I believe you had your first experience when you were 4.
Yes, I did, yes.
Right, would you like to...
Very exhilarating, I must say. At the time, I mean, I was only 4, obviously, but I was... it was quite weird, actually, because it was my brother, my younger brother, who's 4 years younger than me. He'd just been born. It was his first night home, so we had a lot of family coming in to visit and see him. And I was just in the bedroom going to sleep. It was about 7:30 at night. It was quite dark and a lot of commotion going on. And this sort of quite a large man appeared in front of my bedroom window with what looked like a bit of a top hat on and a cloak. And he just stood there, and I completely froze. I couldn't move, and it wasn't with fear. I just froze. I couldn't move. I fell asleep actually staring at the guy. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scary for a 4-year-old, I must admit.
I wasn't scared though, and that's the strange thing.
It would be for me.
Being 4, you'd think you'd be absolutely petrified, but I wasn't for some reason.
No.
So I think that's where the intriguing sort of things came from.
Right, so this led you on to your spiritual journey.
It did, yes.
Yeah, so tell us more about yourself first.
About myself?
Yes, come on.
I'm a well-travelled man, put it that way. I spent 12.5 years in the armed forces. I was in the British Army. So I've been all over the world. I'm actually a war veteran as well, so I fought in the first Gulf, shot twice in the leg. So I was carried off on that one, so I had an easy escape, if you like.
Yeah.
But left the army and I've done some weird and wonderful things. Spent a lot of time with the Blackfoot Indians over in Canada. I used to go and visit them every 2 years. So lots of enlightening things. But I'm just a normal guy, I'm an original guy. I'm nothing special. I just have this wonderful gift that I like sharing with people, and that's me. So.
I have a quick question here from Paul. He said, did he visit you again?
This guy?
No, it was just the once. But I think the reason for that is to kickstart sort of my spiritual awareness, if you like. I mean, my grandmother was quite a very good medium in Liverpool, but in them years it was still behind closed doors, and it was quite secretive, And they used to have a special knock on the door. I always remember when they used to come for readings, or she used to do the tea lady or something. Yeah, I remember that quite well. But she actually took me under her wing. Because my mum, who also has the gift, she's petrified of it. She won't use it.
Yeah.
So she was hopeless, if you like. So a lot of my sort of early teachings came from my late grandmother. God bless her. So.
Right. And is there some connection with Doris there?
Doris Stokes. Yeah, my grandmother knew Doris Stokes quite well.
So.
I have a question for you that I would.
Okay.
Yeah, and it can quite easily connect to Doris there.
Yep.
We often hear that a medium's been trained by a famous medium.
Yep.
Does it really matter as long as they are competent at what they're doing? Because eventually we follow our own path anyway.
No, it doesn't matter at all. I mean, I'm not famous in any way, shape or form. I don't particularly want to be famous, to be honest. Bride teachers, and I've been teaching for the last sort of 15 years. But it doesn't matter who teaches you, as long as they are good enough to teach, and that they have the ability to teach. That's the important bit. Everybody's born with this gift. It's not. We're not special people. Everybody's actually born with this gift. It's up to them on what they do with it, or how they choose to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Any more questions?
There's nothing else coming in from the chat room at the moment. So
please bear with me. I'm trying to get on the chat room myself so I can see what's going on. I just want to say hello to everyone there. I'm not sure who's on because I can't see my computer.
We've got Andy, we've got Nicola, Paul, Walter.
Well, we've got some few new
We've got
names.
a few in there.
Right, I'll be in the chat room in a bit. I'll be
Let's,
in as Steve, but never mind.
Also, but a long time ago, me and Sue went to a circle at the spirituality church. This church, because we wanted to enhance a bit because we were doing the investigations, and the lady that was doing the circle, she absolutely refused to admit anything about guides. She said they're not guides, they're angels.
Angels.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, is there a difference?
I've heard this one before. Yeah. You hear it so many times. I did the church circuit for probably around 3 years, nearly 4 years, and to be honest, I walked away from it because there's so many rules and so many boundaries, and there's so many pig-headed people there. I mean, I don't wish to be rude about people, but they are so pig-headed, and there's a great amount of bitchiness within the church circles. It's unreal. And people go to churches nowadays. I call them psychic vampires, but they go to church to pull energy off you and use you a bit, you know, and you do get abused within the church circles. But no, there's no difference between guides and angels. Some people call them guides, some people call them guardians, some people call them whatever, you know, and they're the same thing, you know, no different. The only difference that you would get with some guides stay with you. I mean, my guide's been with me for probably around 19 years now. I've had the same guide. But a lot of people use different guides over different years for different abilities or different reasons, you know, so not all guides stay with you throughout your life.
Right. Another question from Paul. He says, do you find that with the energy change that mediums have enhanced experiences with power, force, and that new mediums are developing faster?
There is change. I will admit there is a lot of change, and it's one of the things that I did want to briefly talk about tonight. That there is a change coming on, and it's a good change, you know. And I think with paranormal groups in the future, in the near future, we're going to get a lot more activity because spirit now are going to come a little bit closer, and it's something that I've been told personally is that we are due a change, you know. Things have been quiet sort of the last 2 or 3 years. I don't know if everybody's realised there's been a bit of a lull spiritually. It's going to come back with a boom. So it's going to hit you, you know. With mediumship coming on a lot faster, no, I don't believe that. I believe it's running at the same rate. But as for the energy and sort of the energy influxes that mediums are getting at the moment, yeah, there is change happening.
So is that energy helping new mediums to
I wouldn't say
to get on the path a little bit quicker than they would normally do?
I wouldn't say, because everything's got to be done at the same rate. You know, you've got to learn at the same rate. Otherwise, to be a medium, you know, it takes a hell of a lot of time, a long amount of years to become a good medium. You know, it's not just a case of, well, I'll go to sit in a circle for 12 weeks and that makes me a medium. And that's what some people believe. You know,
yeah,
even the church are telling people that.
I've met them myself.
Paul followed on from that and said it's happening, or is it that people are more open?
A lot more people are open, obviously, because you've had the programs like Most Haunted and Ghost Hunters, and you know, you've got all kinds of programs on at the moment. That's opening people's eyes, and there's a lot of people who sat on the fence are now believers, you know, and there's a lot more people going on paranormal events and becoming more aware, and following on from the paranormal events, these people are actually going to sit in circles, you know, and open up the gift that's been left, you know, for so many years.
I must admit, we've been doing it now since 2005, haven't we? Paranormal investigating, for those who've got a dirty mind. We've been doing it since 2005. And I must admit, I feel more opened up to spirit since, you know, in the beginning, it was a bit different, but as I say, it's... I think I'm more open now. You know, so. Yeah,
Paul's asking again. I'm not sure what particular power he's talking about. He says, "What are your feelings of the power?"
Of the power.
The power.
What do you know what he means by the power?
The power is a universal energy, you know, and we need energy to work.
Spirit
needs energy to work. You know, and it's got to meet in the middle. You know. We've got to have an amount of energy ourselves to connect with spirit, as well as spirit having a lot of energy to connect with us. Okay, but you've got to remember one thing, that we are the vessel that they use, you know, to come through. I mean, I'm also a trance medium, as you know,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a physical medium, so I do a lot of physical stuff, which requires a hell of a lot of energy. Now, most of that energy comes from them.
You keep nicking it
It's
from
not
me and
from
all
me.
your little shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've used you now and again as a battery pack, but that's what I'm talking about. It's a universal energy. It's not just spiritual energy, but it's energy ourselves, you know. And with this change coming on, you'll find that our own energy is beginning to boost, you know, and you'll find that a lot of people are going to get in touch because they can't handle it.
I must admit, we have had a lot of people of late, haven't we, that have
Ringing
been
for help.
having problems, house rescues.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had to pass one on to Phase 2 Paranormal today.
Yeah.
But you know yourself, you've been
Yeah.
with us on these
Yeah.
house rescues.
We're just too busy at the moment. We've got one coming up. We've got one ongoing. Then we've got everything else on top of that we've got to do.
But everyone seems to be. There seems to be a spate of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's. You know, I must admit we had quite a few around October Halloween time, and I really thought it was just some sort of coincidence, jokey thing. But no, it's really happening,
It is
isn't
happening.
It does seem to have picked up since then.
Yeah, but something's
really has.
happening because we've done quite a few this year,
I mean,
and we're only in April.
Exactly. I mean, I put something on Facebook months and months ago. Change is going to happen, you know, and that's my own guide just told me, you know, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, you know. But I'm not going to share that information. But from what he's told me, things are going to become a little bit more clear, you know, and more paranormal groups are going to get more evidence, if you like. So look out for that.
Paul said, give my apologies to Neil for bombarding him. Well, if you don't, nobody else will.
Paul, I love this subject. I will talk for the next 24 hours if you want to stay up. That's not a problem with me.
I don't know.
Look, can I ask a question that I get asked a lot when we go on events? People say, what's the difference between a medium and a psychic?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody asks the question.
And a sensitive. Throw that
And a
one in
sensitive,
as
yes.
well.
There's not a lot of difference. Not a lot of difference at all. A medium is what it is. It's a medium. It's a medium between our world and the spirit world. You know, and that's what a medium is. It's mediumship. You know, and that's not, a medium is somebody who uses mediumship for messages or whatever. A sensitive is somebody that would be sensitive to spirit. Now, don't forget, we all have different forms of this energy. You know, then you could be clairvoyant, you could be clairaudient, or clairsentient, or you know. So there's so many different things that you can use as tools.
Yeah.
You know, so being a sensitive is somebody that just senses spirit around them, but just doesn't know how to get them through, doesn't know how to get messages. You know, but they would sense spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some that wouldn't know the difference, you've got clairvoyant, which is
Clear vision.
clairvision, clairaudient,
That's clear hearing.
Then you've got clairsentient.
Clairsentience, that's clear smelling.
You know, there's quite a few.
And another 30 or 40 clairs along the way.
Yeah.
Exactly, Claire is a well-used name or a well-used word, if you like, within this field.
Now, Paul says psychics read the person. He said he likes you, but he's got a feeling.
Psychics are predominantly psychic. You would go to a psychic if you want the future.
Yes.
Okay? That's what a psychic is. They have a premonition of the future, and they will give you messages for the future.
Does that have anything to do with astrology?
Right. Sore subject with me. I don't believe in astrology.
No, says Paul.
Right?
Yeah. No,
What
I've seen
I do believe-
some mediums are now doing astrology in magazines and stuff.
Some mediums go into astrology, okay, and getting themselves in magazines,
Yes.
okay, to self-gain themselves, to get themselves a little bit well-known in the magazine circles.
You don't like that, do you?
I
You
don't like self-gain.
No.
It's a big no-no within, you know, it's self-gain, money makers, you know, there's a lot of fakes out there, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I spent a number of years back in 1995 where I was going around testing mediums, and that's all I did. I went around and got the fakes out and left, you know, the original ones in. You know, I've been testing myself.
Yeah.
There was a lady called Rita Rogers. back in 1995 who used to read for Princess Diana, and she was quite a queen in them days. Nobody was better than her, and she always went along that line. Princess Diana used to land a helicopter, or she used to get dropped off by a helicopter in Rita Rogers' garden. That's how prolific it was. And I was doing circles at the time, and she sent one of her little Muppets, shall I say, to come and test me. And we sat down and gave her a reading, and she said at the end, I must tell you, Rita Rogers sent me. I said, well, I do know that. I knew that from the start. And she said, basically, I want to leave Rita Rogers and I want to come with you because I think you're fantastic, and and that's where it went from there. She then joined my circle, so I pinched one of Rita Rogers' Muppets. Fame gets you nowhere.
No.
Fame gets you nowhere. It's ridiculous.
Nicola likes you as well.
Yeah, Nicola likes you, Paul likes you. Hi, Jebby. Nice to see you. You'll have to come on the show sometime, boy.
Look at Psychic Sally. Okay. And
Psychic Sally.
It's a big one, and it came out, what she was doing and what she's done. A lot of people, a lot of mediums now have got shows going.
Yes.
Okay, and what they tend to do is, if they're not getting something through with the audience, they'll gap fill.
Yeah.
And they'll make stuff up. Now, my argument with that is, if there's somebody in the audience who's dying for a message from a loved one, or they're having major problems that they need counselling on, if they're gap filling and filling their heads full of rubbish, they're then going to leave that show and spend the next 6 months following a path that they shouldn't be following.
Yeah.
And it's going to make it completely worse for them.
Now we do a lot of shows with Neil. We're out normally on the road with his 2012 psychic show, but mind you, he does do more of the private ones, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
More the house
private
parties.
parties.
Yeah. But when we have done the psychic public shows, I have noticed when I'm watching TV and stuff, you get the mediums out there that's boom, 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 and they're bringing it out quick and fast. And you don't. You're slow and you're deliberate. I suppose is the best way of saying it. And there are people that would turn around and say, "God, come on, get on with it." But you have to verify what you're getting first, don't you?
I do tell people at the start, look, I only give what I'm giving. I can't give any further than that.
No.
And I'm not going to stand there in front of people and gap fill
No.
and fill their heads full of rubbish because I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
I pause because I'm waiting for them to tell me what I need to tell them, because it's most important,
Yeah.
And you have to get it right. I always check with my guide or with the person I'm talking with.
Yeah.
That what I'm getting is 100% before I pass that on to the person.
You
because
have
if
to,
it's
don't
not,
you?
of course you do. If it's not, then you're just giving them false hope, or you're giving them a false message, and that's completely wrong.
Yeah.
So I am against a lot of people out there who shouldn't be doing this work, but that's my rant anyway.
If you've just joined us, we're talking to Neil Munnerley. He's a psychic medium from Liverpool. Yes, he is also a medium for UK Shadow Seekers, which is who me and Steve actually do belong to, as well as being founders to the KTPF, that we keep in the Paranormal Friendly website and the community show. We're talking about mediumship in all ways, shapes and forms, from the psychic shows to investigating and everything else. So if you want to get involved and ask questions on this subject via the chat room, later on we will be opening the phone lines for you to call in as well. Please don't be shy. I keep saying phone lines. We will hopefully have phone lines where we'll have the Skype set up as well as the landline, but for now we're going to go back to, is that another question we've got?
That's another question from Paul, yep.
Do you find the spirit area on the stage and top up on energy? Have I read that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Paul wants to know. Do you want to read it for yourself, Neil? Do you find the spirit area on the stage and top up on the energy?
When you work?
When you walk around, are you actually going into the area?
I think I know what he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't particularly have a certain spirit area. My guide boosts me when I need it, and he knows when I'm sort of flagging. On stand up, yeah. Yeah, I'm here all week. No. I know what he's saying. No, I don't have to do that. I mean, I have a fantastic guide, a wonderful guide that I put complete trust in, and he knows when I'm flagging. So he boosts when I need boosting, and he'll come and kick my
That's your
backside when it needs
spirit
kicking.
guide, isn't it?
That's my spirit guide.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I must admit I do like doing the shows, and I like seeing people's, expressions afterwards when you've spoken to them.
Yeah.
Costs us a fortune in tissues, doesn't it?
Oh, it does cost us a
Yeah,
fortune
get
in
the tissues
tissues.
out.
Nicola says she sent you a request on FB.
She sent you a
But she's
request.
not. She's not saying what that request might be, but she
No.
sent you one.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
is single,
No, so it's not a dating site.
but
We have this every show, don't we? Yeah.
because
Neil-
people
Neil's
think that
dating
I'm your
psychic show.
partner. That's why, and I have to tell them that I'm not your partner.
Well, we do have a speed dating bit, don't we? In
Yeah.
sort of the break. Don't
Yeah. but yeah, as I say, we've got the psychic shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do the psychic parties as well, which we can talk about that more later on if anyone wants to.
Which of the two do you actually prefer doing?
Yeah.
I prefer the shows because the reason why I like the shows is because you get so many different people. It's so very varied. Okay, and it tests me, and I like being tested.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're sat in front of one person, it's not really a test.
No.
And it's behind closed doors as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the show is a bit more open, and people, it's a wider range of people, and they're all listening to the same thing as the person that you're reading for. So they're all listening as well, and you can get the reaction from the people, and it is a feel-good factor, and that boosts you as well, because you're getting it right. But it's the testing side.
Right, okay. I'm just making all your phones on. Oh, your things on. Right. Debbie says, for instance, you receive a message for someone that wasn't particularly good in nature, shall we say. Would you avoid relaying that message or tart it up to spare the feelings of the person it is aimed for?
Okay, well, we had this at a show, do you remember?
Yeah.
Where I had to sort of keep it low-key.
Yes.
I did pass a message on to the guy, but I couldn't reveal to the audience what it was about.
Yeah.
Okay, and he knew straight away what I was talking about. But I did take him to one side
Yes.
in the break. And
I've noticed you've done that on quite a few
we
places.
spoke about it then. But no, I have to pass on what I'm given. Otherwise, it's not good for me.
Yeah.
I do get my backside kicked
Right, okay.
if I don't.
Yeah. Nicola said, how do you feel about giving readings over the phone or email?
Don't do them.
There you go, Nicola. Don't do them.
Plain and
I don't
simple.
believe that you can give 100% reading over a phone or an email. It's absolutely diabolical that people are doing that, and it's a money-making thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so please, just bear
Good-
that in mind.
Good
people
said,
out
Nicola.
there. They'll get some things right, but it's not 100%.
Yeah, well, you're not seeing them, are you?
Well, I don't.
You've got to pick up on their energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see how you can make a proper link if you haven't got them there.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
this is
I mean, that's
it.
like me saying, okay, I'll pick up the phone to somebody in Australia and I'll give you a reading. I can't speak to them.
No.
About something. It's not right.
Darren Walsh says, "Hi, I've been a medium for about 15 years or so. Sometimes I get a real block. Why is this, and
Okay.
what can I do to help unblock it?"
Okay. Are you meditating?
Darren, are you meditating, my love? Yes.
Okay. How many times do you meditate?
You can read it there, Neil.
Okay, where are we?
Just there.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Obviously, you do know that meditation is the key to everything, and everything's built on meditation. You need to get your meditation right and perfect before you can move on. A block. Everybody gets a block. I get a block. I still get a block now. I get a block on some of the shows sometimes, and it's a lot of the time it's a personal thing. It's just that you lose the link between yourself and spirit, okay, and it's just a case of reconnecting. It's a bit like a mobile phone when it loses signal. That's all it is, and don't get over worried about it, okay, unless it's happening all the time. Is it happening all the time?
Darren, is it happening all the time, my love?
No.
No, okay, it's just now and again. That's fine. I mean, everybody gets it now and again. I get it now and again where I completely freeze, and it's gone, and it's happened on a couple of the shows. You've probably noticed.
Yeah.
And it's just a case of, giving it sort of, a few minutes to reconnect the wire, and we're back on again, So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Would I be right in saying that you can get a block if there's a lot of emotional stuff going on in your own life at the time?
If you've got a lot of emotional stuff going on, you shouldn't be doing mediumship. You should be taking a break. Okay, and I'll tell this with everybody. You can't sort people out if you've got problems yourself. And you know yourself, I've just took a 4-year sort of sabbatical because I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and there's no way that I could read with people in the state, that I was at the time. So you shouldn't be doing mediumship in that state anyway. A block sometimes can happen if there's too much energy coming in from the people in the audience or people that you're reading from. So if they've got a lot going on, it can hit you straight. It's almost like a lorry hitting you, know, and basically what your guide does, it shuts you off and says, right, let's just filter this out and start afresh. And that's all it is.
Darren came back and said, I go to an open circle. Does this help? Sorry, it jumped up a bit then. He goes to an open circle tour. Does this help?
Yeah, sitting in circles is great, as long as they run properly. And if the person running the circle is, good enough to run a circle, shall I say, then that's fine.
I'm going to ring.
I'm not being funny, but no, I'm
No, it's not. I was just sorry, Jimmy.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
There are a lot of people out there running circles who shouldn't be running circles.
Yeah.
And people are coming away with absolutely nothing, and they're not getting anywhere. They're taking 2 steps back instead of 2 steps forward, and you know that yourself.
Yeah.
But we're not going to that. But that's what's happening.
Jebby says, okay, here's a personal one.
Hello, Vinny.
Do you want to read that?
Yeah.
Just
Sorry,
read that out.
okay.
Jebby.
Right, where are
okay,
we?
here's a personal one. Go on. Can you read it?
Yeah, I'm reading.
Go on then. Out loud.
Oh, do you want me to read it out loud?
Yeah.
Okay, here's a personal one. Sue and Steve both know me, and Rob. Whenever we meet a medium, etc., they are drawn to Rob and tend to avoid me, like the plague. Do I rape the Pope in a previous life? Oh, did I rape the Pope in a previous life? Or something? Or am I just that boring? Well, the easiest answer to that, Jebby, is sometimes people are more open than others. And some people are more attracted to mediums than other people. That's all that is. There's nothing, nothing bad about it. It's just that if I was to meet you and Rob was more open to spirit, I would be more attracted to him than you. Not in a gay way, that is. Sorry.
I don't know. I've met Rob. It'd be a good laugh.
Well, although my feminine side does come out a bit now and again, I'm not that way inclined. Sorry.
Right, Vinny says hi to Neil.
Hi, Vinny.
And Paul would like to know, do you use the candle technique to tune in before a show?
No.
Or is it through experience that you can tune in?
No, it's complete experience, and I've never used the candle. There's a lot of gimmicks out there. I keep saying, gimmicks and stuff like that. It's just my personal belief in things, and it's just the way that I've been brought up and taught and everything else. Don't stop doing what you're doing, okay? Some people use different techniques.
Yeah,
okay?
right. Andy and Hannah says, well, you are camp, Neil.
Oh, thanks.
I think they're going back to Nottingley when you said the way you said it.
We'll dismiss Nottingley. I think I was getting Gay Gordon through at the time. So.
I know you said you hate gadgets, but last week when Steve was here, we got the Portal of Power out.
Oh no.
What's your opinion of Cat's Portal of Power?
Well, I gave my opinion on chat if you didn't see, and it was big letters CRAP. But
going back
to
what you were saying about the physical side, and also just before you said something just before then.
Okay.
About maybe being taken over by this gay Gordon sort of thing as a joke. But when we're on the investigations, you do the physical side.
Yeah.
Paul wants to know, have you ever used a spirit cabinet? But I know that what we do sometimes on investigation is a bit similar, but it isn't.
Okay. The spirit cabinet was something that was designed many, many years ago, and people would sit in the cabinet and they would be tied to a chair, and the cabinet would be locked, and it was just a case of, because you're in pitch blackness, it's just to prove that you're not walking around touching people and interfering with people and everything else. I mean, you know yourself, when I do demonstrations, it does actually seem like I'm walking around and hitting people and touching people and everything, which I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. I just sit there in a chair. I don't need a cabinet. I don't need any. Again, it's gimmicks. You know, we need to get away from the gimmicks.
Yeah.
And I know it comes from years and years and years ago, but let's move on with the times. You know.
Nicola said, "What? Tied into a chair in a cabinet?"
That's kinky.
Said Vinny.
I don't wear.
And Nicola.
By the way, when I do get tied, if I do get tied to a chair, which I've not needed to up to now, but I don't wear a gimp mask or anything. So.
Right, I'm gonna have to take my cardigan off. So, bear with me. You've seen me in this state before.
Oh, so.
Right, going back to that now.
Yeah.
What you were talking about when we were at Struts.
Yes, I am Nicola. Yes.
Did you say you were single? No. When we was at Struts, going back to that, you showed us this demonstration.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
We had everybody going to this big room. We blacked it all out because it had nice black screens.
Yeah.
And you wasn't tied up.
Yeah.
But Steve sat next to you.
He did, yeah.
Okay. Now, we were all sat in a semicircle in front of you. A good, 10 feet away, I would say?
Probably a bit more than that.
I
think the furthest person was about 25 feet away.
Yeah. And we were in pitch black darkness. Vinny was there, I think. Was Vinny there? Vinny, were you there? I can't remember.
Sure. I think he was.
But there was a lot of people. Some were feeling different than others. Some wasn't feeling anything. But there was a lot of feeling that you'd left your chair.
That's right.
And that you was walking behind us. There was quite a few. It was, and you hadn't even moved. It was really, really fascinating to see.
Yeah.
Andy was there. He said he was there.
I can add to that. I mean, having said that, I thought he was right next to me, which is where we started.
Yeah.
And when the lights come on, he was 2 feet in front of me.
Yeah, it was
the whole chair would
really,
move 2
really
feet.
fascinating. We do it quite a bit now, don't we?
Yeah, we
Ever
do.
so often we do it on investigation.
A quick question before it disappears. Paul says, I think he means the cabinet. Does it enhance the chance of a trance with the storing energy?
No. If you're a trance medium and you're a good trance medium, then there's no need for gimmicks. I mean, I keep saying gimmicks. Please. We need to get away from the gimmicks.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, even tarot cards are a gimmick. You know, we use these things because they're known from years and years ago, and it's all when mediumship started coming out, into the open. And they would use these things to enhance or show an enhancement, but it's not. There was a lot of fakery used many, many years ago, as you know. So we need to get away from the gimmicks and make it as open as possible to show people, look, this is me, and I'm doing it from my own energy.
Yeah.
I'm not using anything like a cabinet. I'm not using anything like a crystal ball. I'm not using anything. This is me that's doing it, and it's coming from myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to get away from these things.
Now, when we're on investigation, we always tell people to have an open mind, not be too sceptic and not be too paranormal minded.
Yeah.
They need to be on the fence. And we always turn around and say to them that we think, in our opinion, if they get a name in their head or something, it could just be spirit because they know what they sound like.
Yeah.
And if it's somebody that they've never heard the voice before, it could possibly be spirit that's talking to them. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. That is correct.
That's what I thought.
It's also right that if you get it, you should say it, because otherwise you just keep getting the same name and over and over again.
And it's the same thing. It could be the most stupidest thing that comes into your head. I've just seen a giraffe riding a bicycle. For instance,
Well, my monkey
Don't say the monkey.
But somebody could pick up on that because it means something to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Or it means something with the room that you're standing in, so just say it. And I always tell people to keep an open mind.
And you've got to give what you get.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to give you a scenario now.
He's
in Asda. And you get something just as, say, Nicola walks past. Do you give what you've been given?
I'll give you an example. I was in Sainsbury's not too long ago and I got a message, and it basically... My guide said, look, there's a lady in the next aisle with a purple cardigan on, and she lost her husband's wallet, who died two years ago, and she'd lost this wallet, and there was lots of things in this wallet that was close to her. There was photographs and things like that, so it was very, very personal. And she'd lost this wallet, and he said, right, I want you to go go to her in the next aisle, and I wanted to tell her that it's actually in the drawer that she put in the garage. So she'd put a set of drawers in the garage for some reason, and it was in there. It was still in there. So I'd gone to the next aisle. Lo and behold, the woman's there with the cardigan on. I've gone straight up to her and just said to her, "Look, your husband's wallet is in the set of drawers that you put in the garage."
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to tell you. And she just looked at me, gone out, and she went white in the face, her jaw dropped. How do you know that?
Yeah.
Just take it from me. I'm a medium, and I just passed the message on.
Yeah, but how do they react if you was to come up to me out of the blue,
Yeah.
don't know you from Adam, and say, "Oh, by the way, Bob said hello," or whatever, you know.
Well, if that message was for you,
Yeah.
firstly you'd know about the wallet.
Yeah.
Secondly, you'd know about the drawers that you'd put in the garage, so you'd
True.
know that I know something about you.
Mm.
So you'd think about it. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
So it depends on me. People can either take it or leave it, you know. But I've got to give it. End of story, and that's the way it is. That's the rule of thumb.
I got two quick questions for you. One from Vinny that said, "What's the strangest name you ever got?" And Paul said,
Sue, do you ask if I give symbols?
do you have to get symbols?"
Sometimes.
Everybody gets symbols.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of my mediumship, when I moved into doing the physical side, a lot of the stuff that you get is symbols and pictures and different words and names. But I did a number of years where I just spent doing exorcisms and poltergeist phenomena and stuff like that. But I did a lot in demonology as well. So you can imagine some of the weird names I got up on then. Whether they were correct or not, I don't know. But we still passed them on. So the weirdest name, I don't know. I've had some very, very strange and weird people come through in my time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he said,
Get down, let's have a ball.
"Are something best not said?"
Again, I think that's between you and your guide. If there's something that you think should be left unsaid, ask your guide, you know, and have a chat with him and say, "Look, am I really going to pass this on?" And you've seen this before in one of my shows where I've actually stood there and I've asked my guide, do I pass this on? How do I say this? You know, so check first before you give.
Yeah.
And if your guide says, yeah, it must be given, then you've got to give it.
Yeah, so it's like what you keep saying to our good friend Lynn. Always double check what you're getting.
Always double check.
Always double check.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what we'll do is we'll have a break.
Before you do that, I have a quick question, because I don't know whether the lady's on, but last night she was on Ian's show and she was asking about symbols, and she said she was getting a line with a circle at the bottom. What does it mean?
Okay.
At the time we thought, well, most of it is going to be personal to you, where your guy works with you, but what would be your opinion to that?
She needs to work on that, to be honest. I mean, symbols can mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
You know, if I got a triangle to you could mean completely opposite to what I get.
Yeah.
You know, so it's personal preference. You know, there are symbols out there that do mean things.
I see a triangle, and the first thing that springs to mind is a pyramid.
Well, I would say a musical instrument. You know, so it's exactly there's the example there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, we're going to have a break, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to the what have we got here? Oh yeah, the news of the paranormal world. So let's see what you think to this lot. Okay.
Right, I'm gonna get a quick drink, so you might hear the water running. Gonna turn me
this
mic
week,
off.
the ill-fated voyage of the Titanic was remembered.
Kick the chair.
So we'll start with unsinkable Molly
You're not
Brown,
listening anyway,
as
so-
she became known after she survived the Titanic, and her husband James are said to haunt their old home, which is now the Molly Brown House Museum, as is the boyhood home in Stoke-on-Trent of Edward John Smith, a Titanic's captain according to the owners, Neil and Louise Bonner, who after 10 years want to sell. So a collection of stamps marking the 100th anniversary of the Titanic disaster was launched on April the 10th, a century after the doomed ship set sail from Southampton on its maiden voyage. The stamps include photos of the Titanic being built at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, its launch in Southampton, and the New York Times report of the day after it sank. The collection is also a tribute to 5 postal clerks, 2 Britons and 3 Americans who died when the ship sank on April the 14th, 1912. According to a report in the Times, a few days after the disaster, all 5 completely disregarded their own safety, and when the vessel struck began to carry 200 sacks of registered mail to the upper deck. Royal Mail spokesman Philip Parker said, "The history of the Titanic and the Royal Mail are closely interlinked, as the ship was commissioned to carry mail, and so the letters RMS, Royal Mail Ship, were used in the ship's name." Remote viewing to Tibetan monks is nothing new, and in 2004 it's reported that they had seen what was going to happen to the world between 2010 and 2012. And it seems while the world destroyed itself in war, terrorism, politics and plunging into nuclear war, and at the time something remarkable will happen, says a Buddhist monk of Tibet. Supernatural divine power will intervene. The destiny of the world is not to self-destruct at this time. Scientific interpretation of the monk's statement makes it evident that the extraterrestrial power are watching us every step of the way. They will intervene in 2012 and save the world from self-destruction. When asked about recent UFO sightings in India and China, the monk smiled and said, "Divine powers are watching us all. Mankind cannot and will not be allowed to alter the future of the great event." Are earthquakes awakening the dead? Well, Christchurch paranormal investigator Anton Heinrich said his team had received an interesting influx of phone calls and emails after the 7.1 September 4th quake, with more than double the usual number of inquiries. Well, it's well known amongst the investigators that when renovations of old buildings took place, it tends to wake up the dormant spirits, and activity comes out of nowhere, he said. People are calling us, saying they had always felt something in their homes, but since the quake, it has become more intense, he said. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I know the UK Shadow Seekers have had double their normal amount of inquiries asking for help. Maybe you can tell us more.